After the worst record in Major League Baseball, the Arizona Diamondbacks are breaking out the bank for 24-year-old Cuban outfielder Yasmani Tomas. As first reported by MLB.com, the two sides agreeing to a 6-year, $68.5 million deal. I'm John Brickley with your latest ESPN headline. For more on this story, let's welcome in ESPN.com senior baseball writer Jerry Krasnick. Jerry, involved in this deal, there is an opt-out clause after 4 years, but what kind of background does Tomas bring to the Arizona Diamondbacks?
Well, he's an interesting case, John. You know, people point to Jose Abreu, obviously, as being a real polished hitter and a finished product. This guy's younger. He's missed some time because of injuries. He doesn't really have the same portfolio in Cuba as Abreu, but what he does have is the same big power. He's a guy who can hit the ball out of any park. And the interesting thing about him is he's 6'1", 230, and he's really sort of a stocky guy. He's probably a corner outfielder. People have mentioned maybe Marlon Byrd-type physique. I had a scout tell me he reminded him of Kevin Mitchell, who won an MVP award and hit 234 homers in the majors. So he's a guy who can hit the ball out of any park, has huge power, and that's his big tool, and that was his big attraction.
Jerry, as I mentioned, Arizona had the worst record in all of baseball last year, 64-98. What type of impact, though, can Tomas play in this lineup coming up next season?
Well, John, the scouts I talked to think that this is a kid who is probably, you know, maybe going to be a 270 hitter, maybe 30 home runs, but I think he's going to have some growing pains. You know, he's kind of young. He doesn't have great plate discipline. So I don't know that he's going to be the same kind of impact guy that Abreu was right out of the chute. I think the sense among people is that he's a guy who maybe 2 or 3 years from now is going to be more of a finished product. So he might take his lumps. You know, there really is an adjustment for Cuban players coming over, hitters with all the, you know, cultural adjustments and just the different styles of play. Eventually he's going to be a big power hitter, but I don't know if he's going to be quite the big impact guy that Abreu was right off the top.
ESPN.com senior baseball writer Jerry Krasnick with the very latest as the Diamondbacks and Cuban outfielder Yasmani Tomas agreeing to a 6-year, $68.5 million deal. Again, a reminder, keep it here to ESPN.com for your latest baseball news and notes. I'm John Brickley with your latest ESPN headline.